9 News at 9 starts right now.
Shift happens, and it is about to happen with our weather. Out with the warm stretch and in with cooler temperatures and some snow in the high country. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Kyle Clark.
I'm Jennifer Meckles. Let's bring in 9 News meteorologist Corey Reppenhagen. We're expecting some strong winds tomorrow, Corey. We saw some today out at DIA for all of our folks covering the airport stuff, but it's also a tick up for the fire danger.
Yeah, it is, especially on the eastern plains and the foothills. So we could see 60 to 70 mile per hour gusts in the foothills. We're going to be kind of breezy along the front range, 10 to 20 mile per hour winds. But they're going to be cold winds because we've got a system moving in some cold air. Temperatures right now into the 40s, a rare moment where it's actually colder at 9 News than it is out at Denver International Airport right now. We're dropping into the low 30s tonight, rebounding tomorrow. Only about the middle 50s for us tomorrow. 56 here in 54 in the Denver metro area. So it's going to be a little bit chilly. You'll need an extra layer of clothing, but the sun will be out. So that might take a little bit of the sting out of that cooler air for you as we get into tomorrow. Now, when you look at your 3 days ahead, the rest of the weekend, it's going to be cold on Sunday. It's going to be a little bit colder, probably not even going to make it out of the 40s. We will have a little bit of wind on Sunday as well, but we'll rebound very nicely once again on Monday, starting another weather pattern where we'll have upper 60s, low 70s for about 5 days. I'll talk about that colder air a little bit more coming up in the forecast, which is in just a few minutes.
Republicans in Congress are rejecting the latest offer by Democrats to reopen the government if Republicans will extend Affordable Care Act subsidies for a year so insurance rates don't spike. Government shutdown is in its 38th day, longest in history. Tonight, the Supreme Court has granted the Trump administration's request to temporarily block SNAP food benefit payments. Trump administration had lost in lower courts and was ordered to pay out those November benefits in full. In fact, some states had already delivered those benefits. Here in Colorado, state leaders submitted a request for SNAP payments to be loaded onto the EBT cards. If that were to be approved, the benefits would have gone out as soon as tomorrow. 42 million Americans rely on that program, including 600,000 people in Colorado, half of them children. So while this back and forth continues in the courts, the demand at food banks in Colorado is rising.
Yeah, and access to healthy foods is, of course, important for a lot of reasons. For people living with chronic disease, it goes beyond nutrition. It can also be essentially part of health care. 9 News reporter Shalima Maharaj is live in studio with us tonight. Shalima.
Well, 1 in 8 Coloradans face hunger, and for people living with diabetes, the challenge goes beyond having enough to eat. It's about making sure those meals are healthy and consistent.
It's really challenging because the food prices are very high right now.
Tamika Adams knows what it's like to struggle.
I'm a type 2 diabetic.
What she puts in her body isn't just a choice. It's about survival.
I'm just getting that a lot of people are worried about how they're going to feed their family and their children during this time of the shutdown.
She used to be among the 600,000 Coloradans depending on SNAP to keep food on the table.
You need the energy levels of, your breakfast, your lunch, your snacks, your dinners.
The CDC says food insecurity not only increases the risk of developing type 2 diabetes, but also makes it harder to manage.
Especially for patients with diabetes who are also taking insulin, their blood sugar can get too low if they go too long between meals.
According to Dr. Megan Adamson, Chief Medical Officer at Stride Community Health Center, what we eat plays a major role in preventing and treating chronic illness.
It really means that we see worse health outcomes. We see more people in the hospital from things like heart attacks and strokes.
At Metro Caring, the focus is on keeping the shelves stocked with healthy food. Nayambe Ladon says that during the pandemic, demand surged by 300%, and it hasn't slowed down since.
So things that like dry goods, beans, rice, we'll take canned goods as well.
For Tamika Adams, the priority now is seeing the community come together. A safety net built by the people for those who need it most.
We have to come together as a state and make sure that we have the resources for the people in our community.
Well, Dr. Adamson says many of the patients they see depend on SNAP, and for some, it's a huge difference maker, allowing them to afford basic needs like rent and utilities. So they'll be watching right along with everyone else to see what happens next. Shalima Maharaj, 9 News.
Shalima, thank you. Jeffco Public Schools is hosting a district-wide food drive tomorrow. They're calling it Jeffco Feeds Jeffco, a response to the delayed SNAP benefits impacting, in that district, 22,000 families, Jeffco says, including 13,000 children. You can head over to Jeffco Stadium tomorrow. 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. is when they'll be collecting. They'll have nearly 200 volunteers accepting non-perishable foods, canned meats, fruits, vegetables, dry goods. They're also asking for kids' snacks, diaper supplies, and hygiene products. We're going to plan on trying to get a look at that for ourselves tomorrow, so be sure to tune in to see the turnout.
DIA has stocked a food pantry to help the 1,800 federal workers there who are still on the job but not getting paid. And the airport's welcoming the public's donations of non-perishable food, toiletries, baby supplies, and pet food. Airport leaders say they plan to keep that pantry open and stocked as long as the shutdown continues. Another way to help Coloradans right now is to donate to the 9 Cares Colorado Shares food drive. We are teaming up with King Soopers and local food banks to raise money for Coloradans facing hunger. Our goal is to raise $750,000 this year, enough for more than 2 million meals for people in need. You can scan the QR code on your screen to get to our donation page or donate when you're checking out at King Soopers.
We're also seeing the next big impact of the government shutdown. More than 1,000 flights have been canceled nationwide, with close to 100 of them at DIA. The FAA has ordered flight reductions at 40 of the country's busiest airports. The order cuts back on about 4% of flights, with plans to ramp that up to more flights canceled next week. DIA saw 75 flights canceled today and nearly 300 delays. The FAA says this order is to try to improve safety and reduce the stress on air traffic controllers who have been working without pay since the shutdown started. Most of the canceled flights are domestic, often with connections to smaller cities. We caught up with one woman here in Colorado who was supposed to go to Minneapolis tomorrow to see a concert with her father until her initial flight got canceled.
My dad is 76 years old. Like I said, he has Parkinson's. He made these plans 3 months ago. It's the first time I've ever been able to go to a show with just him.
She says she was able to book a flight to Minneapolis for tomorrow. There are another 60 flights canceled at DIA tomorrow as well.
DIA's largest carrier, United, says the cuts should not have a massive impact on its operations. United says 21 of its flights were canceled today. A United exec here compared it to the impact of a mild snowstorm. During a slightly bigger storm, the airline might see 50 to 55 cancellations a day. United said the main focus is to try and cancel flights strategically to limit impacts.
For example, like Colorado Springs, we run 12 flights a day. We're running 8 flights a day now. Over 50% of those customers that were affected are already rebooked and getting to their destination within 4 hours of their original time.
United says it is choosing not to cancel any international flights or flights that fly from United hub to hub.
All the canceled flights is now driving a rush to rental cars. Today, Hertz Car Rental reported its one-way reservations have jumped more than 20% the past 2 days compared to last year. The CEO of the company joined others calling on Congress to get this figured out already, saying, quote, "Every day of delay creates unnecessary disruption." This morning, U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said even when the shutdown eventually does end, it will still take some time for things to get back to normal. Mesa County is going through some budget cuts right now. They could be painful.
Includes a 6.2% cut to the sheriff's office that could eliminate 18 to 28 deputy positions. The sheriff presented his budget appeals to the county commissioners yesterday, saying that the cuts would affect the department's ability to serve the community. A county commissioner pointed out that the proposed cuts are meant to target unfilled positions. Mesa County has until December to finalize changes to next year's budget.
Aurora has made a new rule that they know that the kids aren't really following as much as they'd like. So now the city is considering dinging the parents with a fine if their kid screws up. Aurora already has an ordinance prohibiting anybody from riding off-road vehicles on the streets, like dirt bikes. A new ordinance would specifically penalize the parents who know their kids are doing it and let them anyway with a $250 fine. Aurora City Council member Francois Bergen says that she proposed the new rule after receiving a lot of complaints about kids riding dangerously. In a council meeting, she said she doesn't want to fine people, but feels like it's necessary to hold the parents accountable at this point.
Loveland is giving folks there a tool to combat fentanyl overdoses. The Loveland Police Department's Narcan kiosk launched this week. It's at their headquarters. Police say that it is free for anyone in the community who wants to come and get Narcan. They won't ask any questions or collect any information. That medication helps to reverse opioid overdoses and can save lives. Colorado's health department says more than 180 people died of opioid overdoses in Lerma County since 2020.